Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Starbeams, Starlights. What are you doing? You all
I
right?
forgot my coffee.
Okay. I'll get your coffee.
Okay.
I'm a good wife.
Yes, this is true, and not because you get me my coffee.
No, because I cook and clean and
Oops.
slave. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Did we just mess that up?
No.
Oh, hi. How are you? How is your morning going so far?
Doug and Heidi here.
Hey. So we actually named our little thing that, the 10 of you watch, which we're really excited about. Guys, we decided to call it Love and Success, the art and science of having it all, or how to have it all. And so I think that's really what we're after, right? We're after everything. I know, listen, for a very long time, I thought I had to choose.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think that it was a thing that you could have everything. I thought you had to choose love or money or relationships, but you were never going to have it all. And I think a lot of women fall into that. I don't know men so much, but
well, not so much. I will say that full disclosure, being formerly married, that was in large part the demise of the marriage because notwithstanding a lot of other challenges, one of them being the idea that you couldn't have it all, that there had to be this kind of level of sacrifice that to give up all of this for another, and you can't have one if you have the other, and all of that. And it's I think men will very oftentimes be more, I hate to say to say gross generalization, but men could be more megalomaniac-y and think they can have it all in sometimes a negative way, whereas I think oftentimes through conditioning and so forth, women have been maybe taught that, well, if you have a family, that's your focus, and you can't if you can't have a family and work on building a career or having some other things in your life. So a lot of that is old conditioning for both men and women.
Yeah. I really bought into it though.
Mm-hmm.
And, when I was deciding, okay, I really wanted love, but that was the thing that was hardest for me, was learning how to be in a relationship with another person and really allow somebody inside. I wasn't attracted to the men who really wanted to be with me. I was chasing the ones that didn't want to be with me and trying to convince them of my value. And, so for me, I could control success. I could control money. That was easy. That was a formula to follow because I was in 100% total control of it. If I do this diligently, if I'm persistent, if I'm consistent, if I do these things in my business, I'm guaranteed to be successful and make money. If I have the right strategies in relationships, if you're strategizing in your relationships, you're manipulating, you're not being who you are, and you're struggling. And so those skills don't necessarily work. Some skills translate over, but to really have it all, there's a big difference in learning how to what's working and what's not working. And so for me, it was just like a come to Jesus. I just put all my heart and soul into my career, my money and succeeding. And then in 2008, I lost it all. Everything came crashing down. And then I had no money and no love. I was broke, anxious, depressed, lonely, and starting over. And then I had an opportunity to reinvent myself in that moment and say, what do I really want? And I asked myself two questions. What am I no longer willing to settle for? And what do I really, really want? And this is what I wanted. A family. I was 35. My eggs were like packing suitcases, giving me the bird walking down the street. They were flipping. They were like, okay, sister, and we'll see you later. Good luck.
Screw you guys.
I'm
going home.
And I was like, man, that's not going to happen. But so for me, I decided, like we talked about yesterday, I created the vision for my life. And then I decided I was going to be unavailable for anything else that did not support my vision from that moving forward, meaning old boyfriends that kept sucking me back in, old jobs, that I knew were really, taking me out of my ability to have a relationship, keeping me on the road and on airplanes and things like that. And so now that I've created this kind of life for myself, now there is like a maintenance phase, right? You create it, and then you have to now balance it and prioritize it. And so we can talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. I think today, what we really want to talk about was bringing it or phoning it in.
But that does
Bringing
translate
it as a
into,
strategy.
well,
right?
yes and no. In that are you bringing your full self? Are you being present, or are you, okay, yeah, honey, okay, all right, and not being fully there? The saying 80% of success is showing up.
Not really.
Well, no.
How you show up.
Right. No, 80% is the showing up. That's not enough. The 20%, that extra bit, is the how, is the are you present, is all those other things. Just being there is not enough.
It's not.
And
because we could come on here in the morning and we could show up for you, right? And we could decide, well, we're just here and that's enough. That's good enough. And so we're just.
Hi.
Good morning, guys.
What you got going on?
Hey. And you're going to be like, what the hell is this? You count on us. And we've created this kind of situation, right? Where our goal is to come on and bring it and pour into you so that you get juiced up. And now here's the deal. We've chosen a leadership position, right? Many of you have chosen a leadership position, and it doesn't have to be that you're doing videos and you're coaching and you're leading seminars. Maybe you want to, and that's what we're for, but maybe you've decided that you're leading a team of people, or you're leading your family, or you're doing what's called leading up, where you're not in a leadership position, but you're teaching people how to treat you. And so you're in a position now where you're trying to model and mirror, bringing it, people appreciate that too, right? So when do you bring it? I think I was in Zumba class not too long ago, and I take Zumba, because I did in dance. And there are times in there when I'm already there, right? I'm already in the class. I've already gotten dressed for the day. I got on my Zumba shoes. I made all the effort.
You showed up.
I showed up, but I'm phoning it in, and I'm in my Zumba class and I'm just like, and I'm not doing.
You didn't put your hips into it.
And I'm doing the, and then I'm like, what am I doing, right? Who am I hurting in this scenario? I'm already here. I'm already spending the next hour either doing this or doing this and going and doing and doing my thing. And I'm either going to get something out of this and come in and get what I came here for, or I'm going to keep hurting myself. And I appreciate that about my Zumba teachers. There's one teacher in particular that some days if he feels like bringing it, he will. If other days he doesn't, he just doesn't bring it. And then
it has a cascading effect.
I'm tempted to be codependent. Oh, he's not bringing it today. I guess I won't bring it today.
Well, and
that's not how this thing works.
No, but because you are a leader, you don't let that happen.
No,
a lot of people would get sucked into it. Right.
I say, not today, honey. You can not bring it, but I'm going to bring it. And you're having that situation. You're saying, well, Heidi, I'm bringing it, but they're not bringing it. Well, don't worry about that, because that's not your responsibility to change them or worry what they're doing. I'm going to tell you something. If my Zumba teacher decides to phone it in that day and he's not going to bring it, and he's going to do whatever, but I'm committed because I'm in it to win it and I'm going to bring it, do I win? Do I need him to change in order for me to get the benefit of the class? I don't. And life is like that. And
what's interesting, I don't know if this happened at that class, but very often when you do ignore that, have it take, not let that take you out, it will inspire that person to go, oh man, I'm not doing 100%. I'm not showing up the best version of me, and get turned on and start turning up the heat. I don't know if that happened with your class, but
I think sometimes
very often it does.
Yeah, the teacher will get inspired and be like, oh man, you're really going for it. And then it makes them happy and they get into it. And that's a great side benefit, but that's not.
No, you don't do it for that. I'm just saying that sometimes you will get those secondary gains for that.
When we were you're a big fan of saying phoning it in, right? Because I've never really heard that. I mean, I've heard it, but I didn't really adopt that.
Mm-hmm.
So we were at school, and we won't say the school again where Ellie goes, but we were at school and we were doing a presentation for the students, and we had to do 5 back-to-back presentations for like half an hour each time. And so even in a situation like that, you're tempted like, oh, this is my 5th time doing this, or this is my,
Yeah.
I mean, we've been doing this now for 3 months or whatever, every single morning, or 2 months, every single morning. And so we could be like, oh, we brought it yesterday, you know, or I brought it to that last class of 3rd graders. I think this class, I'm going to take it easy and just like be like, yeah. But it's their first time hearing it. And it's because we've just decided to be in that situation. We're going to bring it like it's the first time we're talking about it. It's the first group. We're as excited. I'm going to meet them at the door and say, hey, welcome to class today. We're so excited. But there are some teachers that are literally sitting like they have to poop. I mean, they're literally sitting
or on their phone,
or on their phone, and we're going. And then you look at me and you go, "Wow, this one's phoning it in today, huh?" and I'm like, "Yeah, I guess so." But you know that's a leadership position that teacher is in. So I'm not a big proponent of sucking it up and keep pretending. So if you have to keep ponying up, right, and if you're a teacher or you're in a corporate position or you're in a job that every day you feel like you have to bring it and you have to force that stuff, you know, there's that meme that says if you have to force it, a relationship or a ponytail, let it go. You know, if you're constantly trying to bring it, then that's not the thing for you. If I have to pony up every time, I'm like, oh, I muster up, that's not a way to live, right? So how can I create an environment in my life where it's not that hard for me to bring it, where I'm actually am fired up about what I'm doing? This is a perfect example. This is our calling on our heart. We love to serve. We love to teach. We love to, inspire and motivate and lead. Some days it's harder, but because we're in our strength zone and we're in our zone of flow, it's not hard to bring it. We just change our state. We just put on the music or jump up and down or do what we need to do to get in the right
Yesterday
mindset.
would be a good example that
With the stomach bug.
Yeah, we were not feeling so hot, and
but we're in our zone, and so it's easy to bring it.
And time flies when you're in that space, because then, you know, no matter what you're feeling, if you're not well or you're not, you know, whatever, but you get into your zone of genius, then boom, you show up and deliver.
And you get turned on as you're doing it, right? Like in Zumba class, I pick that because I'm able to turn myself on, you know, in that class, because I love to dance and I love to move. And that excites me. But I'm going to tell you, if it was another thing like a boot camp class, I'm going to phone it in every time, right? Because I don't love that. I don't enjoy that. It doesn't light me up. Here's a real good opportunity for you today to say, how hard is it for me to bring it? Am I constantly having to talk myself into it and strategize? Or could I be bringing it because I am in my zone of genius, but I'm not giving myself everything I deserve?
Well, and so as an example, I was asked to do an audit of a sales presentation at an organization, and I get there, and you know, basically I went through the whole thing, and he phoned it in. Like this person was not fully there, and not. Now there's a couple things that happen, and the reasons why, and this is why discipline and decisiveness and commitment are so important. Because if you are truly committed to an outcome, you're disciplined, there are some skills that we need to learn, that we need to craft. And it's going to require, at first, maybe not being in your zone yet because you haven't worked it. But if you show up and you give it your all, you will develop the mastery so that you can then be not phoning it in. You're now in your zone.
That's
and it's not
really
a struggle.
Point. Sometimes you're doing stuff that you really love to do, that you're passionate about, but you're just awkward to hell, right? Until you learn how to master it, you're not in your zone. Like you dating me.
Exactly. Well, there's an element of truth to that as well.
Oh.
Well, it's true.
You're like, which personality do I have today?
Well, so yeah, I mean, that we'll talk on another day about, like, being with a strong, opinionated, passionate,
cray
firecracker
of
a woman that can it can create some interesting dynamics when you're the same, right? So when you have that same energy, that same passion, you know, how do you not compete and be able to step back and find, you know, give space and then find ways to be themselves. And there's a lot to that.
Let's talk about that tomorrow. That's a good one.
Okay. How do you guys stay present when you're and keep the work home life?
Hey, read that loud, because when this goes on
Yeah.
YouTube, people aren't
That's right.
reading this.
How do you guys stay present with one another and keep the work home life, take work home life, romance, and opposite sex needs? I appreciate my time,
Sex
which my
needs?
wife respects.
Oh, opposite sex needs.
Yeah, opposite sex needs. I appreciate my time, which my wife respects. She wants more of me being in tune time, which I dropped the ball because it's harder for me to shut off work.
Okay, so that's a good question. That's a whole nother episode that we can do dedicated to how do we do what we do.
Yeah.
Right? How do we create this, listen, this is an old ancient practice, right? Of writing down your goals and living into the vision. And I do this every single morning. I write down my top 5 or 10 things that I really am going for in my big, big vision of life in my day timer. And then in my organizer. And then
the day timer. Remember those?
I mean,
Do they still make them? Day timers?
It's not called a day timer.
No, well, used to I guess they still make them. But
All right, so here's mine, because y'all know that I had to get that print, right? Okay, because mommy loves the LV. So anyway, I come in my day timer and I write down. This is just an example of all my top 10 goals, right? And I do it every day. I just write them down. What are they in this section? And then I look and I say, can I arrange my day around my goals? Does my day match my goals? And every day, one of my top 10 is I'm in a passionate, loving partnership with my husband. A passionate, loving partnership with my husband. And then if I put it in my big vision every day, it's not that I just say, I want to accomplish that. That's just like, my vision board. I'm going to sit down and manifest. I'm in a passionate and loving. Oh, man. That's not how this thing works. I have to then go, what am I doing today that's going to inspire that, that's going to juice that up, that's going to create that so that I'm living into that vision. And so there are some things that you could be doing, I'm sure. One of them is real, like it's not complicated. It's give her what she wants, boo. Right? If she's saying to you, I want more time, and you keep bucking the system, how can you create? All we have is time. The only thing we're all guaranteed the same in life is time. Not how long we live, but the amount of time we have in a day. And so reprioritize. How can you shift it around a little bit? But that's a conversation for another time too. Look.
Oh, there you go. So George, if I practice my principles in all my affairs, my sponsees follow. If I just show up, they tend to not participate much. I must put the work in. Kind of different situation, but no, totally, exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
it's a leadership position. I mean, that's what may not be evident. And Ray, what's going on? Lesson learned. Love the shirt. Relationships are important. The idea that this conversation that we've been having really ultimately is a leadership conversation.
It is.
Everything that we are talking about at the end of the day really starts with self-leadership, awareness. Heidi loves telling the story about the jungle, like awareness. Are you cutting down the right jungle? Are you doing the work in the right place consistently, diligently, with discipline? And do you have a vision? One of the things, last night, I'm part of this men's group, these 5 of us called EGO, the Elite Gentlemen's Organization. And last night was our meeting. And one of the guys, he said he was running the meeting last night, and he started out, he did a little differently. He's like, okay, guys, we're all going to share something that we don't know about each other. That's like a goal, a vision, something that we want to experience in our lives. And one of the guys just had a baby 16 weeks ago, and he had his daughter the same age we had Ellie, Craig. So I shared, I said, well, one of our big visions is we want to, as a family, but it's something when Heidi shared earlier, like we kind of aligned, is we pretty much want to do like a world tour of what we do and bring Ellie along and culture her and have her be exposed. So as we're going and touching, moving, and inspiring, like really in every country possible, we're going to spend time in each of those places so that Ellie can learn about different cultures and giving back, place, all that. So we could spend time in that area, not just show up and then leave. And they're like, wow, it's but that's a big goal. That's incredible. How can we support you? And that was great. And there was some other things we shared. And then we come around to Greg, and he was like, I've traveled the world and so forth, but very similar. He's like, I'm going to put together like a 5 or 6 year plan that we're going to do something similar with our daughter, where we're going to together as a family travel around. And it's just interesting how when the synergy, like you don't realize when you connect with like-minded people, the kinds of similar goals that we'll all have. And what's great about that is we can then support each other even more on that because of the efforts that we're taking, the contacts that we're making, the resources that we're creating that then get shared throughout your network. And that's the difference between showing up and phoning it in, like bringing it or phoning it in. We could have just sat there at the meeting and been like, oh, okay, cool, it's nice to see you guys. Yeah, this is our ego meeting and all of that. But instead, no, it was like dig deep. It was get present, bring it.
You're already there.
We're already there. And that was Heidi was sharing earlier about creating the environment that's exciting for you. What is going to be like the most impassioned way that you can show up, and the environment that you show up in. And it's really important. I mean, when you do deeper trainings with us and all of that, there's some things we do with our neurological level alignment, which is a fancy word for designing your life, designing your story, and owning it in all these different areas. And the first one is your environment. What environment are you putting yourself in, right? I mean, Zumba, you love Zumba. Is it more like enjoyable doing it in the Zumba class with the Zumba people and the teacher and all that?
It's even more specific than that. If I'm in the back, I don't love it because people are elbowing me. People are people like don't know what they're doing. They're in front of me. I've got to be in the front on the right. I know so much. Look, sex. Okay. I like to bring up sex at 6:30. It's just my thing.
It's best time. Morning sex.
Morning sex. Here's your daily dose. If I feel like if I feel like I'm phoning it in sex, okay, I'm going through the motions. Well, you'll know it, first of all, and you won't be into it because the myth is that men want to have sex just because they want to have sex all the time. No, they want to have sex with a woman that wants to have sex with them. Okay, newsflash. But if I'm phoning it in, and then I expect my partner to like juice me up or make me desirous, or like my Zumba teacher to like make me motivated to do my Zumba that day, I'm in trouble, right? It is my sexuality, my turned onness, my ability to bring it is my sole responsibility, even when I'm in a relationship physically with another human being. I'm still responsible for turning myself on. What's an environment
that's the
sexually?
Magic that happens, because then it becomes a
synergy.
Right.
But what's my responsibility if I want to bring it in sex instead of phoning it in? Like, oh God, I'm gonna do that again. Didn't we just do that? Oh my God, is it Tuesday already? If I have to behave that way, Tuesday's not a thing. But if I
could be.
It could. Hey, how about Thursday? Huh? Okay.
So every day.
Today's Thursday, baby. So if I'm phoning it in sex and it's my responsibility to create the environment, how can I get myself in a state that I want to bring it, right? What makes me want to bring it? Is it music? Is it the shower? Is it scents? Is it positions? Is it places? If it's other people, all right, and you're phoning it in all the time because you've been not attracted to that person for a long time, or you're angry at that person, or you feel like you're doing your wifely duty or your whatever it is, then it's time to go. If I'm phoning it in for 10 years, maybe it's time to dial another direction. Okay. But if not, if I'm in my zone, if I'm with my person and I'm just in a season in my marriage of winter or whatever it is, where I know that I'm not bringing it and I need to bring it for my own pleasure. Women is another time for another conversation, but women, pleasure is your superpower. You and your pleasure and allowing yourself to receive pleasure and get ignited up is what gives you the juice you need to go through your day and make stuff happen. It's the diesel to your destiny, your pleasure. Okay.
Well,
and so allowing yourself to bring it is important. But that's, again, look, we're talking about too many different things.
Yeah, there's a fire hose of variety today. We're not phoning it.
Oh my God, it's like Sonny and Cher variety show.
Yeah.
I got you, babe. Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah,
hey,
the whole-
let's wrap her up, shall we?
Yeah, that
Let's wrap
whole
her up.
talking about sexual. I mean, we can get into like even ancient practices and
Ooh, a
the
little
what.
tantra action.
Well, yeah, but also like where that that energy, actually what that creates is a whole other like conversation around.
Oh man, yeah, your sexual energy.
Sexual energy
big
and
gas,
its
man.
application to multiple areas of our life. It's a spiritual experience.
Yes,
Um,
it is. Ah,
Indeed.
hallelujah.
Yeah, if I don't say so myself. So, with that being said, always, please, if you have any questions, any comments, send them to us. If you're watching this on a replay or on YouTube, please share. This would be great. Anything we could do to support you even more. Quick reminder, June 19th, we're going to have at the Bookseller the launch party for Under Construction. Do
you want
how
to
you
say
feeling?
subscribe? Okay, are you going to be a big girl this morning?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that
All right.
happens.
Well, make sure you're subscribed to YouTube because I think this is going to change, right?
All these algorithms may change. Pro Tools is going to stay the same.
Honey, yeah, are you grumpy pants?
Grumpelstiltskin.
All right. Well, we
Okay.
love you very much. We hope you have a beautiful day today.
Yep.
And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow morning.
We love you for who you
Hey.
are and who.
You got to be, your friends love you so much and they want you to say good morning in a kind way. But if you're not in the mood to do that, I understand. Sometimes we're not feeling it.
Is your belly still hurting? Oh, that's good.
Okay.
All right then.
All right.
We
We love
you.
you.
See you later. See you
Bye.
tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.